Hello and welcome back to Universal Love Law. Let me see if I can wiggle back. Today's video, I want to just discuss the times that we're living in. Kind of like Age of Aquarius updates. I love to do that. And so today I wanted to make a more defined video of like the qualities and characteristics of the times that we're living in. And for those of you guys who are just now tuning in, I want you guys to know what is this all about? When it comes to the Age of Aquarius, it's basically a time, basically like generational, large gaps of time. So you can look at it like a decade, right? That's like 10 years. And everyone born into that decade has generational qualities and characteristics and purposes that they play out. And it can be very small, like personal purposes, as far as like breaking family wounds and chains and restructuring and things of that nature. And when we talk about the Age of Aquarius, it's more so over a course of over 2,000 years that we're just entering into an age where the energy really plays out in the characteristics of Aquarius. So the Age of Aquarius, basically, if you think of that, we're talking about a time that we just started. If we want to look at it from a 3D type of three-dimensional outlook on like timelines, it's going to be, it actually just started. And so we're at a very small degree. When you look at astrology charts and things of that nature, you see degrees, right? There's 0 to about 30 degrees. And so, and all of the degrees represent a maturity level, like, or a awareness and an overcoming, a growth, right? And so when we talk about Age of Aquarius, we have to understand that it presents itself as a state of characteristics that are played out in our human lives through our deep inner burning desires and things that we feel as though we need to bring forth to the world. And this is what Age of Aquarius basically means. It's like an inner feeling of needing to bring something forth, but it's for the collective. And when we talk about Aquarius, it's under those characteristics. So what is Aquarius? Aquarius is water. The water barrier, but carrier, but it's not water. It's actually air. So air, when we talk about air, sorry guys. So when we talk about the quality of air and what that represents as far as mentalism, it's a different kind of air because it's different modalities. When we talk about the 3 air signs, we're like Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. So what distinguishes them to be different is the modality that it carries in, the characteristics under each air quality. So air, the qualities of Aquarian air energy is basically dealing with fixed energy. Fixed is more so inner. It's more so self. It's more so fixation and a focus. And it's like a pivotal point in where we direct our energy, and it's not like a mutable where it's like not the pivotal point in which we're fixed on. It's more so the energy that is being emitted that we're embracing. That's mutable air, which is Gemini. Libra is more cardinal air, so it initiates the thoughts and ideas and things of that nature to start anew. After it's initiated with that cardinal energy, it's fixed, so it's holding and it's comprised of all the information and knowledge needed to sustain itself. Fixation, fixed signs just really means sustaining and holding its own modality or quality, which is air, mental, thoughts, ideas, things of that nature, right? So we're thinking about Aquarius, fixed air. So we're fixated, we're sustaining a way of life through the way we view things. Aquarius energy also deals with humanitarianism and giving back and all of those things. And so when we talk about giving to a group or giving to a society and the connections that Aquarius correlates to, like humanitarianism, due to it being connected to the 11th house of friendships and associations and things of that nature. So now we're starting to really see the picture a little bit clearer. So we're knowing that this time gap that we're experiencing life as, and an experience that is really based on characteristics and traits that we provide a purpose within. We utilize the age of Aquarius to bring a fixated mental organization on collectiveness and groups and humanity as a whole, but also in its subgroups, like in its communities and things of that nature, right? And the reason of that is because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So it's like the higher octave of Aquarius is the planet Uranus. So this is another correlation. So not only is it we playing out 11th house energy, which is associations, groups, and things of that nature, but it also correlates to the planetary alignment, like the planetary characteristics as well. So it being related to Saturn, it shares energy with Saturn, but it also shares energy with, it's completely ruled by Uranus. So you want to look at those characteristics to also understand where we're moving towards, where we're moving forward to. So like, for instance, Uranus brings forth a host of characteristics, all based on reformation. And that's because Uranus basically deals with rebellion, revolution, okay, change, instant change, okay? It deals with higher knowledge, intergalactical knowledge, not just simple knowledge like the basics and facts. It deals more with a higher knowledge that utilizes spirituality, logic, history, all forms of understanding and systems to create an overall picture and an overall understanding. Uranus brings forth that type of higher knowledge and that type of information. So now we know that we're building a new way of providing knowledge. We're bringing old knowledge new to the surface. We're bringing, because it's nothing new under the sun. Remember, energy can never be destroyed. It can only be transformed. So in the age of Aquarius, we're bringing that old history, that old knowledge that our ancestors and their ancestors had created in the beginning of time, and we're reforming the information. We're bringing it forth to the new age, which they love to call the new age, which is never anything new under the sun. And they're bringing forth meaning in a higher intellectual way. And it just deals with the mind. That's what Aquarius and Uranus energy does. It brings forth change and structure. Now, this is where the Saturn energy comes in, because the higher octave of Saturn, it deals with Capricorn, but the lower octave of Saturn deals with Aquarius. So when we talk about compartmentalizing, Capricorn is known to make sense of things by organizing it and categorizing things into the umbrella in which it falls under. So that's another gift that Age of Aquarius will bring forth. Not only are we going to bring forth understanding of old knowledge, right? Because it's just old ways, a new way of doing things. It's original because you're using its original essence, but you're translating it using the mind, using language, words, communication. This is all air, right? Air quality, Aquarius quality. So right now we're living in a time where people will bring forth ideas that will change a person's perspective, because that it's instant change. So Uranus and Saturn is really doing its due diligence as far as working together. More so Uranus energy, so it's spontaneous, it's rebellious, it's new, it's different. But it's not, in essence, in all actuality. It's just an old way, but it's old information and knowledge being presented in an original way, in a new way, that makes you feel so real. It feels so real. So utilizing Saturn energy helps us to really make it make sense. So you hear that saying like, well, just make it make sense. That's what I want, is for it to make sense. This is the generation, these generations, these people who are incarnating here, are reincarnating here, coming back here, or experiencing a lifetime, or bringing, there's a purpose within them to restore things of Aquarius nature, like community, like friendships, and not just dealing with one-on-one like the Libra, which is the air quality of the cardinal air, initiating air, one-on-one interactions and things of that nature. It's more so group affair. So we'll see a lot of change in the way the group, social groups, politics, and things of that nature, the way that they're operating. Politics will change. This is something that is kind of like something we will look forward to, and that we will actually bring forth with a revolutionary spirit. Because remember, the spirit of this time deals with the revolution, and bringing forth awareness, because it's intellectual. Now, I'll relate it to the past time, which was the age of Pisces, right? So we were coming out of the age of emotional awareness from a subconscious level. So the way that our collective created an understanding of the Piscean energy through the characteristics Pisces holds is the experiences that were held within that time period. This is the history. This is the time, the 2,000 years that people evolved with Piscean energy. Remember, Pisces is ruled, the age of Pisces is ruled by Neptune. So Neptune gives this deception, but it also gives this authoritative justice and law, because it's also co-ruled by Jupiter. Okay, so thing about Pisces and Sagittarius is they both are co-ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is utilizes the higher octave Sagittarius energy and the lower octave of Piscean energy. So it's a way where the age of Pisces brought forth that Neptune energy, which deals with some of the hardest times, like enslavement, like entrapment of the emotions, and also entrapment of the mind, because you're not connected to the mind. You're more so connected to the emotions. So as a collective, over that time gap, that time of the age of Pisces, we were experiencing a time of transformation through emotions and deception and rulers, because it deals with law and justice, right? So there were rules being implemented on people that were living in a time where there were enslavement. And think about it in history, the Atlantic slave trade. That was not just one form of slavery. There was slave amongst all races. And this was a collective effort that people justified that it was okay to enslave. And a lot of it is due to, thought process that deals with other energy that I'm not going to really get into, but like more energy dealing with light and dark, yin and yang, angelic, demonic, all of those things, right? Really, it's just negative, positive energy. So at that time, it was deception of self. And now we're entering in a time of realization with the age of Aquarius. We're breaking free of those chains. We're rebelling. That is because you think about it. If we're entering into age of Aquarius, that means that we were just exiting the age of Pisces, where that was a later degree. It goes back to that degree. So we have that later degree of Pisces, which is breaking the chains. And this is when slavery was, quote unquote, demolished. But ultimately, the subconscious aspect of it was built upon a subconscious enslavement, entrapment in the mind, dealing with race, dealing with culture, dealing with separation of regions and things of that nature, and stealing of lands and corruption of understanding their culture, of a group of a race of people's culture. All of those things were in the age of Pisces kind of created in a negative light. And so the age of Aquarius has multiple ways that it can play out, right? Quantum physics, we talk about quantum physics, meaning there's multiple realities that we can step into. The time that we're experiencing only exists in the now. So anything that we do towards reforming, that's that structure of Saturn, Aquarius energy, and rebelling against old ways and groups. It's all about community now. Okay? It's all about community and what we're bringing forth to change and reform how people are getting their needs met, basic needs met. Not just people, but animals. Any living, breathing creature, anything alive, anything that has a soul, anything that has a purpose, which everything living has its perfect purpose. From the air we breathe to the plants and the sun and the moon, everything serves a purpose in our evolution, right? So when we look at Age of Aquarius from an evolutional standpoint in history and time, we're here to reform the way people are interacting with each other. Okay? So we're realizing that we're all connected through source, even if we're different races, even we're flocking to our tribes in this early stage of Aquarius. Humanity is a very important thing. The thing about Aquarius too is it doesn't deal with the emotions so much as a Pisces age did, where we had a lot of lessons and experiences in loss, because that's what Neptune does. It creates a deception. It deals with fantasy and illusion. So we kind of enslaved ourselves due to our focus on emotion versus our focus on the bigger picture. That outlook on life and the outlook intellectually of being able to have education, break down things. In Age of Pisces, where we just came from, there were people that were starved of education, of true knowledge, of source knowledge. There were old traditions that we held on to based on fears, like religions and things of that nature. Not to say that anyone in a religion, you guys are wrong, because no, there's a path for everyone to reach their salvation through their understanding and knowing. So if you need to be a Christian in this lifetime, a Muslim in this lifetime, a Buddhist in this lifetime, whatever it is, whatever tradition that a person or system that a person follows is their route in connection to understanding it all, understanding that life is bigger than what it seems, that a soul experiences has its purpose, and we have to live life to fulfill those purposes, right? And it's so important for us to do our part and hold our weight for our collective to evolve, because we are all one in humanity. We understand that once we understand the concepts of things like soul groups, soul tribes, soul family, karmic relationships, soul mates, and things of that nature. When we understand all of that through knowledge and breaking down of information, which that's what Aquarius does. It's information. It's quality over quantity. We're having an understanding of things, concepts that are complex and things of that nature. But it's not emotional. It's more so logical. We're dealing with the logical sense of spirituality. Now we're able to understand logic, kind of like Virgo energy, and breaking it down and things of that nature. Okay, so Aquarius attributes are, of course, we said fixed air, self, mind, and mental. So not only is the Age of Aquarius bringing forth an ability for us to see ourselves as an individual in the group, because that is what Aquarius does. An Aquarius person, I'm pretty sure you know them, they can have a group of friends, but they always identify themselves as an individual. Their individual mind brings forth their own creation and understanding into the collective. So Aquarius people, or people that are highly dominated with Aquarius energy or Uranus energy or even Saturn energy, they bring forth a knowing that I am not you. Capricorn and Aquarius just have this quality. I am not you, but we are one. What you do to another can affect us all. It affects us all in the group, but Aquarius energy and Capricorn energy as well, but we're focusing on the Age of Aquarius, right? So Aquarius energy is its individual self within the collective, if that makes sense. And it's based on communication. It's based on sharing of ideas that are not me just agreeing with you to make you feel good, like Piscean energy. It's when we look at the age of Pisces, Pisces is mutable water. So it connects with people. Mutable meaning it connects, it understands other people, and it knows how to become a chameleon and blend in with the ideas and thoughts of others, but more so dealing with the emotions, not just thoughts. That's air quality, communication. So we're dealing now where we were previously dealing with connecting of other energies based on emotions. Like, I'm gonna agree with you because you're right and I understand how you feel. Now we're moving into an age where people are born into this lifetime to identify, be observant, and be like detached from the emotion, and more so understanding and analyzing of your presentation. What are you presenting to me? And I will take what I need to add to the pot, and anything I don't need, I won't. I will formulate my own ideas. This is what Aquarius energy does. It helps a person to observe and create and form their own opinions, their own understanding, their own ideas, and bring it forth to the collective, even if you do not agree with me, because that's another thing about Aquarius energy. Remember, it's the rebellion energy. It rebels against other forms of understanding that it doesn't feel the connection to mentally. If I'm not attracting or understanding it mentally, then I'm gonna hold my peace and believe what I believe. And if you come for me and try to change my form of thoughts, then we have a problem, because that's when the tornado come, right? That's when that air, and it's fixed air. So it's always fixated on its own ideas and what that's predicated upon. Okay, but that's so helpful in the times that we're living in. You would think, like, how can a person be an individual within a group? How is that helping humanity? If we all just agreed with a leader and we all just agreed instead of questioning and formulating our own ideas, then we will be going under that same old path of dictatorship and rulership and patriarch over matriarch. Piscean energy, okay? That's the age of Pisces. We're out of that age. We're into an age where we do now stand against what we don't think is right, not feel, more so what we don't think is right. We're here to become revolutionaries in a way where we're not harming or hurting anyone, right? It's not volatile. It's not fire. It's not, concrete and earth-like you can force change in that way. It's more so I can choose to believe as I want. Freedom of belief, freedom of choice. That's another thing that is a key for Age of Aquarius. And we'll see that for the decades to come, because we have 2,000 something years to go through this age, master it. But we're in the baby steps. So this whole big thing about age of new age thinkers and things, it's like they're rebelled against and they're repelled against, because those people are actually formulating their ideas and opinions to create a new system, okay, that we'll call the new age, but it's just old knowledge being restored in its totality. So now we're not only just thinking about one way of doing things, like one religious, this is the belief, this is the process. And no, we're accumulating all forms of knowledge and being able to create a new with understanding. So it's expansion of the mind. Okay, we're here to expand our mind and become. Another thing about Age of Aquarius, it deals with like that alien energy, so different, right? You think of an alien, you would think of someone or a being that is highly advanced, someone who is highly capable of understanding information and not attached to emotion, so they can decipher and see through things and see if someone's being manipulative and conning and things of that nature. Aquarius energy possesses that new otherworldly form of information and understanding of concepts, okay? Higher knowledge, technology. Uranus deals with technology, okay? Out of the box thinking, unorthodox. Also being able to methodically think for long periods of time and processing information to create its own fixated way of how you think, okay? Phenomena. So what we'll look forward to is seeing things like trends, Trends like the clout chasing and all of these things, these are all trends. We'll also be able to see the collective consciousness as waves. We'll describe it like, we'll describe the times, the phenomena, the times that we're experiencing like a wave, like, when everyone did this or everyone did that. We did that in the age of Pisces as well, but the age of Aquarius really brings forth that trending energy because it deals with groups, right? Popularity, social structures, okay? So it's a correlation to third house energy because we're talking about social environments. And the environment of the world is becoming so small and condensed due to the internet. The world's so much smaller. We can connect with people all the way across the world through Messenger, Skypes, and video, So the world's smaller. The way we socialize, the way we identify ourselves with groups and associations, we're more condensed. We can connect collectively now due to the trends and what people are into, group associations, okay? This is all the age of Aquarius, and the emphasis will be around that. And also another phenomena is being understanding of the spirit. Once we understand that the soul and the spirit is separate, it's different, Spirit deals souls more with the feeling and the vibration. A soul is a part and aspect of source that it's complete from beginning into end. And I know that's like, wait, that sounds really philosophical, but when you think about source as a lava lamp, you see the big glob breaking apart little parts and particles of itself. That's like the soul groups. And the soul groups have their own individual soul experiences through lifetimes of experiencing what it would be like to be this race, what it would be like to be this sex, what it would be like to be gay, what it would be like to be trans, what it would feel like to be evil, what it would feel like to be good. All of these are being collectively stored within the soul groups experiences. And now we're moving out of that whole evil, light, dark, contrast, polarity. Polarity is a universal law, so it will always be and exist here, but we're moving into a higher vibration. So as we evolve our mindsets and the way we think, we're also going to evolve into a higher vibration of what is right and wrong. Like bullies are unacceptable, right? Things of that nature. Spirit. So when we talk about spirit, we're talking about an energy that is possessed that holds a vibrational frequency that we tap into. Sometimes if you like you hear sayings like, I felt low spirited, or I didn't have energy that day, or I was tired, or whatever. Like, you had to restore yourself. And awareness of spirit is going to become more prominent, into our awareness, into our psyche, into our understanding of where we're evolving into. The age of Aquarius brings forth that understanding of spirit in its totality. Like, it's kind of like a phenomena. I put it under trends and things of that nature. Us understanding the act of spirit and knowing that spirits hold its own characteristics. So you vibrating on a certain level and frequency will bring forth that type of spirit energy within our lives. You think of team spirit, right? Every group, like teams, groups. Okay, this is Aquarius energy. You think of cheerleaders, you think of teams or sports and things like that, or debate teams, things where there's teams, where there's groups of people that they possess a vibration that brings forth a whole spirit of energy that you can either relate to or repel against. So it's really deep when it comes to the phenomena of spirit, when it comes to the age of Aquarius. So we're also very prominent into understanding our soul groups in this time. We're understanding that we're not all the same as far as our life purposes and things of that nature. Some people are here to do and fulfill certain things for themselves individually, or things for themselves for the collective. Like, for instance, I would say someone that is a quote-unquote a leader in this time is an educator, okay? Someone who is bringing forth knowledge and understanding due to tapping into those, higher dimensions of understanding and intellectual capabilities. and translating old knowledge into a new way, to where it's felt, to where it's spirit, right? And it's a soul group type of situation. Like, it's like holding your hand to propel someone in your group, to elevate and to uplift, to enlighten, to bring up into a higher frequency of awareness. Okay, this is what soul groups do. They work as a group collectively, and there's an awareness of that in this age of Aquarius as well. So there will be massive change that happens like quickly, and there's a rebellion against the old way and reforming. Okay, we went over that. So there's different systems that a person can utilize to help them understand the age of Aquarius. Like, of course, you can correlate it, the correlations to Uranus energy. If you want to know, if you want to tap into understanding what the age of Aquarius will bring, you can always do research on Uranus energy. The more that you start to understand Uranus energy, you can predict, or you can understand the qualities of Aquarius on your own free time. The same thing goes with understanding modalities like fixed air, which is going to be the type of energy that we're bringing forth during the age of Aquarius. Okay? There's a spiritual system called the auqaurius, which is African spirituality, where the age of Aquarius, that energy correlates to Shango, which is a god that governs over fire, lightning, and thunder. Quick, spontaneous things like that, right? That's a system of spirituality that you can also make a correlation if you want to do your own personal understanding of age of Aquarius. Because people ultimately are asking questions about the age of Aquarius as if they don't know that they can look it up and they can research, and that will create downloads within them. Okay? So ultimately, I hope that there were jewels of information that was provided in this video. I will always give updates on the age of Aquarius, for information is always being downloaded to us collectively as well as us individually, where we are here to bring forth to the collective group, to the collective consciousness, okay? So know your role is so important in assisting us as we do our journey and as we, ascend into a new way of life. And a new time and new era, right? I want to share something personal. I did name my daughter Myra, and I did that intentionally. It is her time, and I feel like it's so important to know that it is your time. It is your era, and the age of Aquarius deals with that. It deals with the spirit of groups and associations and friendships and bonds, that deals with more than two people. It's a group of effort. And collectively, there's a group effort for us to understanding what are we doing here. Okay, for us standing and rebelling against what's right and wrong. For us to stand against people bullying other groups. If that's not your group, you don't say anything about what that group is doing as wrong. As long as it's not hurting or harming someone, we can all collectively create ideas of what is right and wrong for the entire collective. And then in our subgroups, our compartmentalized groups that we create in our subdivisions of groups, if that makes sense, right? Because we all have our role. We learn through our collective group in what we're here to bring forth and the knowledge that we're here to bring forth. So I hope this information has been helpful for you guys. Please let me know what you think below in the comments, and let me know if you guys want any more information on Age of Aquarius. I will bringing it forth anyways. So yeah, have a great one, and